Endlich!
Janine Flock. 300 Null. Geschwindigkeit und im Ziel in
Yes!
For the first forerunner, all the sun shields are open, all the sun shields are open. Skeleton and track is skeleton and track.
Welcome back to the winter wonderland that is Lillehammer in Norway. A couple of hours north of the capital Oslo. This is the venue for the 1994 Winter Olympic Games, for the 2016 Youth Olympic Games, and it is currently the venue for the 8th and final race of the IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup season. So the season finale and the European Championships on this historic track. And after a quick race in the men's competition, chances are we will be close to track records territory again on this cold, frosty day for the women. Victoria Donnecker, the start record holder, is in today's field. The German rookie in only her 4th World Cup. Start is short and explosive here, down through turn 1 and then 2 and 3. Little short straight. Corner 4. Late pressure sets you up for corner 5 and into the Omega turn, more than 180 degree corner 6. Into the labyrinth, then 7, 8, 9 and up to corner 10, and this left-hander leads you very quickly into 11 and corner 12. The exit here, critical for 13, which defines your speed for the bottom of the track. Short straight, the Elk straight, down to corner 14, and then the big double pressure corner 15 and 16, heading uphill there across the finish line. Kim Marmans, the track record holder, the reigning European champion, and she was due to be racing here, but unfortunately has suffered concussion in the America's Cup race in Lake Placid last week and has not recovered enough to really want to come and race here again. Looking there at the most successful woman in terms of medals in the European Championships, for which this is also the counting race. And Janine Flock with 11 medals, 3 gold, 4 silver, 4 bronze, looking to add to that and to secure the overall World Cup crown. Jacqueline Fife, you just saw there, she's been a former World Cup champion, so the hunt for the Crystal Globes is on.
The first forerunner.
Janine Flock leads from Hannah Nijser, last year's runner-up, and Kimberley Bos there on the right from the Netherlands. She is in 3rd spot, narrowly ahead of Jackie Pfeiffer. Well, at the moment, the deal is that if she finishes in the top 10, Janine Flock will be the World Cup champion for the 3rd time, no matter what anybody else does. Across the valley, lots of skiing going on, but there are plenty of fans here, including 1,100 school kids who have come out for the day. Well, better than being stuck in a classroom, isn't it? Hannah Nijser leads our field off ahead of Kimberley Bos and Amelia Coltman. Janine Flock goes off 5th. And we have a field of 36 starters. Six different race winners this season, 10 different medal winners in the women's competition. And we get underway with our Olympic champion, Hannah Nijser, European silver medalist and Youth Olympic silver medalist 2016 on this track. 36 World Cup start for last year's race winner. Well, the start looked nice and smooth, 5:29. And these early corners absolutely key for keeping your speed up between 4 and 5. And then through corner 6. The labyrinth can cost you as well. If you get late here, you'll survive the labyrinth, but then corner 10 will find you out. Big double pressure corner, she had late height, smoothly through 12 and up to 13, little scramble there. Tags the wall coming out of 13, track record is a 52.88. And she is going to be close, 52.79. It is a new track record. Snorre Pedersen, the Norwegian slider who's now past the track management team here, told me this morning it could well be track record territory. It wasn't for the men, but it is for the women. First sled down, new track record. A long skid there. This in the lower part below corner 12, which is so important for speed. Going into 13 sideways, could have been quicker. Came out of 13 pretty well. A little tag on the wall, heading up to 14. Kept the line nicely. So Hannah Neisser with an early advantage. 5:29 her getaway. Let's see what Kimberley Bos can produce. She was the bronze medalist last year. Former World Cup champion as well, 2 seasons ago. Olympic bronze medalist last time out. We're just under a year away from the current games. 5:12 getaway. Excellent starting again from Kimberley Bos. Her coach and sled builder, Kristen Bromley, second most successful male skeleton European Championship gold medalist. 3 goals for him, 3 for Nino Baracci, and the most successful of all, 12 gold medals, Martin Stukors. Woo, little late height in 10. Better speed and a big advantage over Hannah Neisser. Does she hold it through 13? Just about. Second best speed, but she's got nearly a quarter of a second. This is going to be a new track record for Kimberley Bos at the line by 21 hundredths. Well, we had a brand new winner in the men's competition. Lin Chen Wei of China beat Sammy Meyer of Austria. As excitable as ever. Again, 10. A lot quicker, I'm thinking, the track today, judging from what we've seen on just 2 sleds compared to how it was in training. Again, late out of 13. I think all of the steers that they're instinctively trying are being caught out by the fact that the track is fast. Super fast. Third up, UK's Amelia Coltman, the British slider in her 19th World Cup start, European bronze medalist in Sigulda last year, and winner of the season opener. Pyeongchang seems a long time ago, doesn't it? That was a skeleton-only weekend, as was Beijing. And Amelia starting 5:13, just 100th behind Kimberley Bos. And the men's competition, we saw that the British sleds were losing speed lower down below corner 10. Amelia had a good race last year, finished in 6th place. About the best result of any of the British sliders here at Lillehammer. And she's in the green already. Better speed than Kimberley Bos. Track's been re-prepared, it's got a fresh spritz. I mean, look at the high gloss sheen on it. It's like polished marble at the moment. And Amelia really handling this well. Beautiful exit out of 13. Third best speed. She's going to be very close. It won't be a new track record, I don't think. At the line, it is a new track record. Now, this is not like St. Moritz, where, because it's a different track, hand-built every year, they reset the records. These are records that previously existed before today that we're breaking. All right, well, it was close. She outstarted Kimberley Bos outstarted her rather by 100th. She outdrove her to be 400ths in front at the bottom. That obviously felt as good as it looked. Next up, Jacqueline Pfeiffer of Germany. Well, Amelia Coltman's 19th World Cup race. This is the 69th for Jackie Pfeiffer. She was dropped from the German squad for at least a couple of seasons because her start wasn't fast enough. Well, her start, arguably, still isn't fast enough. You don't get points for that. You don't get prizes for that. You get prizes for being quick on the ice. So what she has as a deficit at the start, she makes up for all the way down the rest of the track. And this is a good driver's track, so this gives her a chance to fight back, because it's not a glider's paradise. the more corners there are, and there are 16 here, the more chances there are that people can make mistakes. And if you're good, and she is good, the more chances that they make mistakes gives you more of an opening. Second best speed already. Still fourth on the splits. Teammate Hannah Neisser, the Olympic champion, is currently third of the 3 sleds. And 2500s behind the leaders. It's not the tidiest run for Jacka either. Best speed of all at the bottom though. And at the line, she is ahead of Hannah Neisser. Oh no, she's not. She's tied with Hannah Neisser exactly to the 100. Well, she wouldn't have minded doing that in the Olympic Games in Beijing, that's for sure. So Jacka finished 9th last season. Neisser was the winner. There's nothing between them in the first heat. There's the load. And out of 13, got fired across a little too far and just tagged the wall there.
And the track is clear.
Next up, our most experienced slider in terms of total World Cup starts, 112th today for Janine Flock of Austria. 41 World Cup medals in her career. Vicky Grunberger seems to have laid the sled in the right groove this time. 5:23 the getaway, so a 10th quicker than Jackie Pfeiffer. But a 10th slower than our race leader, Amelia Coltman. And as with Pfeiffer, the longer the track, the more corners are involved, the better Janine Flock likes it. She comes from the shortest track in the business, Innsbruck. Actually, Austria now has the 2 shortest tracks. She's got a 1 kilometre track in Bludenz. 700's back, here she comes. Watch the speed numbers on the left, fastest of all. She's an absolute speed merchant at the bottom of the track, tagged away 13 to 14, still a quarter of a second up. New track record coming. How big is the lead going to be? 3/10, 5/10 of a second nearly. Wow.
Extremely close, and she crushes the track record with half a second. Well done,
I'm loving their track announcer here. She crushes the track record. She does indeed. Looking for her 3rd Crystal Globe, her 3rd championship title, her 3rd World Cup title. And she's looking for her 4th European Championship gold medal as well. A great first run from Janine Flock. Now, she's not the slider who's been around the longest, but she has done more World Cups than any other. Next up, 25th World Cup start for Susanne Kreher. Last year's 4th place finisher leads. Kreher finished 13th last year, her only race on this track. The 2023 World Champion in St. Moritz. European bronze medalist last 2 years ago in Altenburg. Third fastest start, only 500s slower than the leader. And she has managed to build on that speed. I beg your pardon, Janine Flock, the new leader, started 5:23, and she's already in the red. So 4900s back to Amelia Coltman in 2nd place, but actually she is losing speed fast here, losing ground. 4300s back already. She might not be 2nd at the line, she might not be 3rd at the line. 4th place, 52.72. Speed just going away. So Susanne Kreher 4th, Hannah Neisser 5th, tied with Jackie Pfeiffer. She's 700s ahead of them. So 5:18 start, comprehensively outstarted her teammates. Outstarted Hannah Nyser by 1100ths. Outstarted Jacka by 1400ths. And only 700ths ahead of them at the line. But like her teammates, losing speed. Not something you often see from German sliders. For Great Britain, Freya Tarbet, 16th World Cup start. She finished 16th here last year. The 24-year-old, 8th in last year's European Championships. She's raced here a couple of times in Europe Cup and in the World Cup last year. Teammate Amelia Coltman lies in the silver medal position. Like Amelia, Freya was a winner in Pyeongchang. Amelia won race 1, Freya won race 2. 500ths up on Janine Flock. She's going to need to really find speed. Only the 7th fastest. Well, the track can't have deteriorated that quickly in just 3 sleds. This is a little bit like what we saw in the men's race. Some decent lines, but the speed not great. And she's going to be in amongst the Germans at the line. No, she's not. She's behind them all. 52.80. Third fastest at the start. 7th out of 7 at the bottom. So Martin Stukulster and Matthias Guggenberger, who work on the coaching and especially on the sleds, still finding this track tough to unlock. Now, it may be driving errors that are giving the speed away a little earlier on. And again, you can see a little bit of late height there and a flop. That's out of 13. Onto the Elgstriket.
Also from Great Britain, we have Tabitha Stocker.
So from Freya Tarbet to Tabby Stoker. 16th World Cup for Tabs as well, end of her 2nd full season. The 24-year-old finished in 12th place here in last year's race. Previous experience in Europe Cup here as well. Like Freya Tarbet, 1 gold, 1 bronze medal, her World Cup tally. 4.95, good strong starting. That is the fastest of the competition so far. Tabby's athletic background is an unusual one. She came into the sport not as a heptathlete like Lizzie Arnold, not as an equestrian athlete like Laura Dees, not from track and field or sprinting or jumping or rowing. She was a circus athlete, went to circus school. So, risking everything on the high trapeze. Not too much different from this, I think. Oh, little late out of 13. 4th on the splits, 8th best speed though. Like Freya Tarbet, she's going to sink down the order. 5th place ahead of Hannah Nyser and Jackie Pfeiffer. Little applause from Matthias Guggenberger and Kenny Thomas. Not a tidy run from Tabby Stoker or from Freya Tarbet. And again, track very fast today after a deep overnight freeze. It was -11 last night, much colder than it's been for the previous few evenings, and that means the track harder, faster, and less forgiving than it has been in training. And the athletes, without much chance to experience that, having to adapt on race day. Next up, Nicole Silveira of Brazil. Best season she's ever had. The Pan Am gold medalist. Pan Am champion for 2025. And 2 bronze medals, 1 last time out in St. Moritz and 1 in the season opener in Pyeongchang. 5:23 getaway. So sixth fastest start. She's turning into such a fluid slider. Kim Marmon's coached by Richard Bromley, who also builds their sleds. Richard is going to be absent for at least part of the World Championships. A cruciate ligament that needs surgery, and that is going to happen in early March, right in the middle of the Worlds. Fifth best speed for Nicole Silveira, little late off 13 again. Fourth best speed. She's driving herself, potentially up to fourth place. Fifth place, 100th behind Susanne Kreher of Germany. So Kim Marmon's there, helping with the sled. Kim could perhaps have been racing, but the World Championships are the target, so she's opted to keep herself healthy, which I think is absolutely the right choice after suffering a concussion from the vibrations in Lake Placid. And again, the extra speed they're carrying, 10, 11, 12 into 13, is being a problem for everybody. 10th of our 36 starters from Czechia is Anna Fernstedt, her 61st World Cup start. 24th place finish here last year. 5:27, pretty decent start. Nice smooth lines. 8th best speed though. Speed. She's not holding on to it. Need to work a little too hard to keep the line. Doing a little too much steering. Getting on to 15 there. Leander's over to the left before 16. 10th at the line, 53.11. '24th place last year, made the cut, and with that run she probably should this time out as well. Doesn't look overjoyed. And again, a little late flop off 13. Everybody is carrying the speed further round than they're anticipating. And some of these corners are so quick that you just don't have room or time to renegotiate. So Janine Flock leads Amelia Coltman by nearly half a second. She's head and shoulders clear. Something of a landmark here for Kelly Curtis, her 25th World Cup race. Has not raced on this track before. She was absent from action last year, having her baby daughter, and so did not come here in the World Cup, had not been here before. So first time in Lillehammer. There was paid training last week, as well as the regular 2 days of training, 6 runs. So I'm sure she'll have been learning as fast as she can. 5:16 start, 5th quickest, so quicker than Janine Flock, but now just drifting behind her a little. Top 5 speed though. And Kelly, while she may not quite have the starting performance that she did 2 seasons ago, starting to drive herself back into shape, into form. Across the line, well, what was a top 5 run becomes a top 10 run, 52.81. So she's ahead of Anna Fernstedt. And that should see her into the second heat to record her first World Cup result on this track. And looking to go to the World Championships in Lake Placid, the track she knows well. Her first World Championship outing as a mum. Well, there she will have, hopefully, lots of friends and family around as well. There's plenty to fix on this track with 16 corners. Next up, welcome back again to the World Cup for Julia Erlacher, only her second World Cup of the season. Raced in Winterberg, but that's her only race this year. Raced in the World Cup here last year to 26th position, then did a Europe Cup race here a few weeks later in December. 5:10 start, nice getaway, and I'm sure the Austrians are absolutely full of it today, with Sammy Meyer having taken the European Championship gold and a silver medal in the men's race. 1300s up on Janine Flock of Austria. Now 300s back, and still half the track to negotiate, down to 10. 11, 12, looping high out of 12, hits on the way into 13, big waves in 13. It's all coming really unstitched. This is absolutely way faster than she was anticipating. And across the line in 12, 53.38. Well, she had an early lead thanks to her faster start over Janine. But from 1300s up, she comes in 1.33 seconds down. It was wild below the labyrinth. Just gets a little tap away there. I mean, all these tiny little things have big consequences. Big pressure waves in 10, shoots down into 11, and then out of 13. 13 was wild, and the straight up to 14, no less so. So, might leave her in danger for the second heat. Now, last year's silver medalist on this track, Mystique Ro, one of 2 silver medals in her World Cup career, starting only her 16th World Cup race. Raced here in the ICC and twice in Europe Cup, as well as in last year's World Cup. Every time she's been here, she's gone away with a medal. And right now, from that start, she could be in that position again. Maybe a little of extra height. Beginning of the labyrinth. Again, just a little steering to get the line right on the exit, which is suboptimal, and the speed is going away as a result. Oh, hard hit out of 13. Not going to be a track record, but is it going to be second place for Mystique Ro? It is. A little applause there from coach Matt Antoine. So last year's silver medalist, currently in second place. See in 6, the pressure waves. Just got shoved up a little by that late pressure. And the 6-7 transition, not particularly tidy. Further here, out of 13, not at all tidy. Big hit on the wall. That's worth a 10th at the very least. But she lies in second place. Next up, Italy's Alessia Crippa. Finished 15th here last year, Alessia. Her 31st World Cup start, raced here in Europe Cup in 2022 and last year's World Cup, so limited experience on this track. 5.19, excellent start. Top 10 starting from the diminutive Italian, but already behind the 8 ball. Again, late pressure in 6. So she's late onto 7, late through 8, taps coming into 9. Big waves in 10. Late pressure in 10. Out of 12. Hits the wall on the run to 14, comes into 14 on entirely the wrong side. Really scrambling at the bottom of the track to try and hang on to it. 53.52. Right from corner 6, that started to come unravelled. That's where she caught her jersey on the nail, and the thread was being pulled out all the way down. And every subsequent corner getting later and later. It is a wild ride, this sport. Head first. And they're over 100 kilometres an hour, up into the 70s miles an hour, all the way down.
And the track is clear.
Well, we know where the speed went. We saw that. So, for Victoria Dernicher, the start record holder when she woke up this morning, 4.89. Let's see if she can nudge that. 4.96, not quite. Victoria just 25. This is her 4th World Cup start.
Finish time 63.62.
Again, a little late in 6. Everybody is finding this track difficult to adjust to. Oof. Again, very late off 10. Really scrambling into 13. And all of these athletes, the more experience they have, not so much of this track, but of sliding per se, is allowing them to deal with it better. 53.06. It's only her 2nd World Cup this season. Her first was in Winterberg. It's only the 4th World Cup of her career. She's disappointed with a 96. She was hoping to push a new start record. An 89 eluded her though, or an 88. And also, there has been a 4.95. She possibly will have known that as well. So, Tabby Sturka outstarted her. Little smile. So, next up then, Sarah Roderick from the USA. Janine Flock, our leader, from Sarah's teammate Mystique Ro. After the first 15 of 36 sleds. Still in the first half of the field. World Cup best this season, Altenburg, 9th place. Decent start, 5.12 is the 5th fastest we've had. Gives you an 1100th of a second advantage over Janine Flock, but that is evaporating fast. Decent looking labyrinth. Not bad. Oh, exit of 11, not great. Exit of 13, really uncomfortable as well. We should have been cursing that, the speed going away fast. Across the line, 53.46. Well, 2 tenths ahead of Victoria Dernicher. And that leaves her in, beg your pardon, that leaves her in 15th place. So 5th fastest start. Wonder what her knowledge of Lake Placid is like, because if you're starting top 5 in the field and you know the track well, you don't get a lot of this kind of thing. Finished 25th here last year. Did one Europe Cup weekend as well. Big day for China as well, with Lin Chen-wei claiming gold, his first win in World Cup. Li Yuqi raced here in the Europe Cup in 2021, had 2 wins, finished 17th in last year's World Cup race. Good start, 5:15, 9th best. Still 600s ahead of Janine Flock. Now that start advantage has gone. In the labyrinth, not quite online again. Big lake height in 10. Compromised 11, and out of 12 down into 13. Not a great run. Scrambling 13 to 14. Waves and steers in 15. 53.01, 12th place at the moment. Finished 17th last year.
From Great Britain, Amelia Coltman. In third place, Bobsleigh, Mystique Ro, and our current winner from Austria, Janine Flock.
Lee still hunting for her first World Cup medal. Probably not coming today. Watch the load as she runs and hurls herself forward down the slope. Exit the 13. Big skid as she came off late. She's using her left toe to try and drag the sled a little bit more to the left. Work to do. Next up is Xiao Dan, finished in 18th place last year. 7th in the 2020 Youth Olympics in St. Moritz. Raced here in a qualifier in the Omega qualifying races and raced in the World Cup last year. So just twice on this track. 5.20 start. What a lightning getaway for Dan. Everybody dropping behind Janine Flock. She has been a race winner, victorious in Beijing this season. Actually limiting the damage pretty well, 1300s back. Not so much now, the speed's not there. 2600s back, that gap is growing. Only the 10th best speed at the bottom. The setup for the men seemed to work. 3 in the top 6 at the end of the race, but not quite so much for the women. Xiao Dan in 12th, Li Yuqi in 13th at the moment. And Dan just a 10th faster than her teammate. Lots of waving going on, and not just from the kids. And lots of late exits. Next up, Katie Uhlaender, the most experienced of them all. Made her debut in Winterberg in November 2004. 20 years ago. Her 110th World Cup start. She's taken time out. She's tried a number of different summer sports as well to become a summer and winter Olympian. has not qualified for the US summer team, looking for her 5th Olympics spot for Milano Cortina. And that might possibly, you sense, be her last time around. Although with Katie, it is often hard to imagine that she's actually going to stop. 15th best speed. She was 8th in last year's race. This is not that run, is it? Still the 15th speed. Well, picks up a couple at the bottom, 53.38. Actually, that's been a little bit of her season in the lower quarter of the top 20 rather than in the top 10. No medals this year either. Well, she's still got the knowledge, the drive, and the bald eagle on the helmet. So we know it is still Katie. And a return to form in Lake Placid, that would be something to see. A year away from the games in Italy, what can Valentina Margaglio turn this season into next year? All of the Italian sliders need to turn their seasons around. This has been an underwhelming year for all of them, even compared to last season, which was definitely better for all of them. Valentina finished 19th here last year, not one of her better races. It's been a long time, 12 races and 13 months since she last claimed a medal. That is not ideal as we're getting towards the end of the quad with the home games looming. Slips out of the lead, midway down. But the speed is awful. Still at a loss, really, as to whether the sled, the athletes just can't drive it, or they're continually trying different things, almost none of which seem to work. Tough times for our Italian sliders and for their coach, Willi Schneider. But again, completely sideways, and it just looks like they've not been able to keep the sled going straight. And again, I don't know whether Willi is saying, look, this is the way it has to be for speed, and you have to learn to drive it this way. Or whether that is just the nature of the sled, and I don't know. Janine Flock, Mystique Ro, Amelia Coltman, your top 3, 20 sleds down. Second World Cup start for Darta Naimane of Latvia. So the first time in a while we have had a Latvian female slider, and the first time since the retirement of the Ducourge brothers after Beijing, since we've had a Latvian male slider this season. And that means Latvia can have a team in the teams competition on Saturday evening. 14th fastest start, 5.20. Darta finally made her debut. It was scheduled for Sigulda, but she made it in St. Moritz, where she finished in 31st place. And at the moment, 21st out of 21, 53.80. No guarantee she's going to make the second heat. She's the under-20 junior European champion, youth silver medalist in Pyeongchang in February 24. She's had races here in the Omega selection races in the Junior Worlds and in Europe Cup. In the deep end for her second World Cup start. A track that has changed drastically since their final training here 2 days ago.
Next one up from Switzerland, Sarah.
One of our 17-year-olds. Next up, another one of our teenagers, 19-year-old Sarah Schmid of Switzerland. Under 20 Junior World Champion. Raced here to the under 20 silver in the Junior Worlds as well. She's raced here in Europe Cup and ICC. And last year she was 22nd, made the cut for the race. And part of that is her start, 5:19. Decent getaway. She's not the tallest slider. Just on the wrong side of everything in the labyrinth. And late out of 10, out of 11. Hits out of 13, wrong side into 14. 16th best speed. And she comes across the line in 17th place. So she is ahead of Julia Erlacher and Katie Uhlaender. And Sarah Roderick, Alessia Kripper and Data Naimene. So 22nd last year. Wouldn't be surprised to see her around 22nd place, possibly by the end of the first heat. She's currently 17th. Dead heat behind her between Julia Erlacher and Katie Uhlaender means we've got 3 sleds covered by just 200s. So first of 2 rookies, Adelina Badara of Romania. We had a rookie in the men's race from Romania. And this young lady, just 16 years of age, 8th in the Youth Olympics last February in Pyeongchang. She's the youngest slider in the World Cup. Right, 5:62 start is going to leave her with a lot of ground to make up to try and make the second heat. But the key is here, she's extremely young and making her debut. Hasn't got much in terms of speed now after those skids early on. And again, with limited experience of the track and of the sport. And adjusting to the changing conditions is the hardest part. Across the line she comes, 55.06. She has made her World Cup debut at the tender age of 16. So welcome to the World Cup to Adelina Badara. Raced here in Europe Cup, then came back for the Omega selection races and raced here in Europe Cup again last season. And at just 16 makes her World Cup debut. So makes our 17-year-old trio seem ancient. Almost. Not quite. So first of our debutantes, Adelina Badara. Next up from Finland, another first-timer, Hanna Rusvarm. 30 years old, 3rd season of sliding. Her first race was in Lake Placid in November 2023, and this is, apart from an Asian Cup outing, her first time outside of the US and Canada. So 5:51 getaway. She has previously raced on just 4 tracks. 3 in North America and in Pyeongchang. Now, Hannah's coaches lead me to understand that she has been based at least part of the time in Calgary. Joe Cecchini, who coaches the Canadians, former Italian slider based in Calgary, is one of her coaches. So Hannah representing Finland, 55.19 across the line. And that puts her behind fellow rookie Adelina Badara. And as far as I can remember, and I haven't checked definitively, because you can't, she is the first Finnish skeleton slider this century. Answers on a postcard if you know differently. Well, delighted to see Finland represented here, especially because we are in Scandinavia. And because, as a motorsport fan, I've got a special place for Finns in my heart. So, Hanna Rosvarm makes her debut. Next up for Liechtenstein, Katarina Eigenmann. Raced here last year to 30th place. 16th in the Youth Olympics 2020. Raced here in Europe Cup, ICC, Junior Worlds, World Cup, you name it. So with only her 11th World Cup race, she's probably done nearly that number of races on this track alone. 5:58 getaway. So she's in the same starting territory as our last 2 sliders. Little late flop for Katarina. Again, late off 9, late on to 10, late flop off 11, and out of 12, steering hard onto 13 as she went straight up to the roof. Plenty of commitment, so the head is absolutely buried in the big corners, and a 54.74 for Katarina Eigenmann. A little bit of help from our German colleagues. 27th in St. Moritz last season, her best result. Finished 30th here. No male slider at the moment in the Skeleton World Cup from Liechtenstein, but we have a female slider and a men's bobsleigh team as well. She's a ray of sunshine. Next up, Julia Simpson from Switzerland, 1 spot ahead of Katarina in last year's race. She finished in 29th place. She's raced here before in Europe Cup and the Junior Worlds, as well as last year's World Cup. Junior European bronze medalist 2025. Mum and Dad both skeleton sliders. Jean Wicki, a European medalist. I think Connie claimed a European medal in her career. Didn't see a sign of that in my results. Julia still early in her sliding career. And really trying to keep the sled under control here, and that's costing her speed. Helmet buried, that was the noise you heard in 15. Across the line, 23rd place. So 10 more sleds to come. And she has got, 3 behind her. So there was a shot there at the second heat. She doesn't look thrilled with the run. Kind of okay until the labyrinth, and then below that she started to feel it was all getting away, all rushing at her rather quicker than she had anticipated. Rocking and rolling out of 13. Weighing herself and her sled at the bottom. Song CG now for China. 24-year-old's 9th World Cup start. So one at the end of last year and this whole season. 18th in Beijing, race 3 of the year was her best World Cup result. And a top 20 start, so kind of in where she needs to be, as long as she can hang on to that speed. Low corner 6, too bad into the labyrinth. Just about ahead of Dart and Naimana of Latvia at the moment. 22nd, and that pushes out both of our rookies. Hanna Rosbaum and Adelina Badara are out of the second heat, and Katarina Eigenmann of Liechtenstein is currently in 25th place. So, not the most convincing run from Song CG, but 22nd at the moment might just be enough to keep her in. There's effectively over a second between her and 25th place. So that run should be good enough.
Next one up from the Republic of South Africa, Nicole.
So Nicola Berger, the 30-year-old, works for the Royal Air Force in High Wycombe and representing South Africa for the 5th time in a World Cup race. Raced here in Europe Cup last year, in January 24 at the end of the previous season, and in December 24 at the beginning of this season. So 2 races on this track at least this year. She also races with the RAF Skeleton team, so those won't be IBSF results, but it may be that she's got more experience than that at this track. 19th best start, 5:25 is a pretty decent getaway. 24th place, she's in the race if she can find a few little crumbs more speed, and that's a decent exit out of 13. Not too bad. At the moment ahead of Julia Simpson, and she's behind Simpson, but in the race at the moment at the expense of Katarina Eigenmann. So again, Nicole Berger from South Africa, racing fairly unsupported. Oh, it wasn't a bad looking run at all. Decent exit out of 13. And just the tiniest brush on the wall going into 14.
Next one up from China, Yuxin Liang.
Shout out to her sponsors. Liang Yuxin of China was our youngest slider until Adelina Badara of Romania came along. 17, 15th in the Youth Olympics 2024. Raced here in the Omega selection races, in the Junior Worlds and in the Europe Cup. So this is her first season at World Cup level. This is her 7th race, because she missed out on racing in Winterberg. 17th at the start. She's driving herself a little further up the order, and that's good news. Now it's going the other way, still with a little more speed on board than Nicole Berger, who we saw just now. Oh, gets a big hit going into 14, still with better speed, absolutely flying, but sideways onto 15. It's her or Berger, and it is her. Nicola Berger rather is, and Nicole, I was right the first time, is out. So Liang Yuqin, 20th place. That should be enough, shouldn't it? And Nicole Berger of South Africa joins Katarina Eigenmann, Adelina Badara and Hannah Rusvorm on the bench. Will not, unfortunately, get a second heat. Big skids. See the ice crystals coming up. These are rounded runners with a tiny contact patch. It's rock hard ice. And they're still digging up the track. Tara Asnar was our second youngest athlete. The 17-year-old from Spain finished 12th in the Youth Olympics, 3 spots ahead of the younger Chinese athlete Liang Yuqin. And like Liang, raced here in the Omega selection races in Junior Worlds and in Europe Cup last year. 5:32 getaway. So doesn't have the speed of her Chinese rival at the start. Can she match her for pace down the track? Well, so far this season when they've competed against each other, Liang Yuqin has had the slight upper hand. And at the moment, only with 28 speed. Tara is out of the race. Helmet on the ice, but again, really uncomfortable exit out of 13. Legs going in all directions. And across the line, it is 29th spot, 55.18. So in the drop zone is still Julia Simson. She survives another one. Julia Simson 25th. Data Naimana of Latvia 24th. But no second heat for Tara Asnar of Spain. And their coach, Ander Mirambel, knows what this feels like. Certainly in the earlier parts of his career, he spent a lot of time just desperately trying to make the second heat. And gradually, this Spanish team, as the team gets better and more experienced, they get better resources, and they can improve their equipment. They will get closer and closer. Janine Flock, the leader, and we have 6 to go. Our second Dane, Nana Johansson, 18 years old, younger sister of Rasmus. First World Cup race here. She finished 4th in the Youth Olympics 2024, just off the podium. So she too raced here in the selection races. She's also been in Europe Cup and Junior Worlds here. It's her 6th World Cup start now, having made her debut in Pyeongchang. .27th at the start with a 5:44 getaway. Clawing away a little up the order. She's 2 away from the race. Can she make it in? She does make it in at the expense of Julia Simson. So with coaching and equipment help from the German team, she has managed to find that speed lower down to undo the starting deficit. Well, you wonder now, from Youth Olympics 24, whether there's a slight chance she might get to Milan Cortina 26 as well. That would be a massive leap up, wouldn't it? It is going to be a tiny field, though. Next up for Belgium, Amelia Coltman, 11th in the 2020 Youth Olympics. She's had 10 races here in Lillehammer since 2019. Finished in 21st place here last year, and that remains her World Cup best result. So coming back perhaps to a happy place. Now, not the biggest start draw and not the fastest start. Can she, like Nanna Johansson, drive herself into the race? At the moment, no. Speed's not there. Johansson had the speed. Amelia Coltman on a Bromley sled, not able to find the pace she needs. 28th at the line, 54.30. So no second heat here this year.
So we have still 4 more sleds to go.
As you hear from our track announcer, 4 to go. So Nanna Johansson is not safe. Data Naimira may not be safe either, and maybe in 23rd Song CG as well. And the chances are actually that it's Nanna Johansson who is possibly the only one who's really in danger, but Data Naimira of Latvia won't be able to rest easy. Again, Elena getting late in these corners as the speed carries her further round than she'd allowed for after training. Alessandra Fumagalli of Italy, very late start draw for our 26-year-old Italian. 21st World Cup start, she comes out 33rd out of 36. Last year finished 28th. Raced here in Europe Cup in 2022 as well as World Cup. 5:12 start. Now that's what you need to try and break into the lead group. Top 6 start. And if she can hold that speed down below corner 9 and 10. Already gone from 6th to 12th to 16th on the splits, only the 19th best speed for Alessandra Fumagalli. She's got great start velocity, but she cannot hold the speed down the ice. 19th on the splits, 18th on the splits, 13th best speed. Here we go, this is a little better at the bottom. She's adapted well across the line in 17th. She is in, and Nanna Johansson is out. Well, last year, 28th, did not make the cut. This year, she will make the cut. 17th with 3 to go. That looks like, at the very least, a 10-spot improvement already over last year.
From Spain, and the track is clear.
3 to go then. First up for Spain, Ana Torres Quevedo. 13th World Cup race for the 23-year-old. 16th in Beijing last season is her World Cup best. Europe Cup, Junior Worlds and World Cup outings on this track in Lillehammer. 32nd fastest start. And driving herself into the top 30, but the top 25 is quite a long way away. Whoa, a little wild. Down below 10. 33rd best speed. If she can come across the line in 30th place, that would be impressive. It's not that, though. It's 34th. So last year, 32nd and 34th at the moment. Again, below corner 10, everything happening at ×2 speed. Big early pressure in 6 means you sag down. That means you're going to spike again on the second pressure. Long skid down here, 12 to 13. And then skidding off the wall as well. So 2 to go for Estonia, former Latvian slider Darta Zunta, 5th in the 2016 Youth Olympic Games here. She did the Omega qualifiers, the Youth Olympics, and then didn't come back here until 2024 when she raced in Europe Cup. Didn't race in the World Cup last year, not on this track anyway. 5:19 the start. So 14th fastest at the start. Let's see if she can keep that speed alive. Started her career, raced in the World Cup for Latvia, then changed federations to Estonia. 14th at the start, on the splits, 18th, 19th, 21st, 22nd, it's going to be close, the speed is just about enough, 23rd, she's in, 53.51, and that is the end of the hopes of Darta Naimana of Latvia of making it through. So one Darta evicts another from the race. Darta Zunta is in, Darta Naimana is out. Getting bumped and beaten up. It's not a sport for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Even on smooth ice like this, when you're pulling the G-forces, you are with your head right down on the ice. Quite often the helmet gets bounced up against your face, against your nose. Not the first time we'll see somebody coming out with a nosebleed. Final sled then in the first heat from Malta, Shannon Galea. 7th World Cup start for Shannon, first time on this track. '15th at the European Championships in Samoritz in 2022. 3 World Cup races so far this season. Best of 32nd place in Sigulda. On the cusp. Actually, the count is not quite accurate. Splits are showing her down in 35th position, not 30th, 33rd speed as well. Good use of the head through 15 and across the line, 55.30. So 35th spot for Shannon Galea, ahead of Ana Torres-Quevedo. And so many relatively new and a lot of some relatively young sliders in the group below the top 20 in the world, all battling for those final few spots. And I'm sure a lot of them sharing notes and sharing knowledge. So much about this sport among the athletes is mutually supportive, because in the end it is just you, your sled and the track. So first heat of 2 is done in the season finale for the IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup, and with a very handy lead, it is Austria's Janine Flock. Janine looking for her 42nd World Cup medal and for her 12th European Championship medal, looking for win number 4 to tie the record set by Anja Huber of Germany. So she leads by 0.3 of a second, a third of a second, I beg your pardon, from Mystique Ro, with Amelia Coltman in 4th, narrowly ahead of Kimberley Bos, then Suzanne Crea and Nicole Silveira, separated by 100th, and so too behind them, Tabby Sturker and Hannah Neiser and Jackie Pfeiffer and Freya Tarbit and Kelly Curtis. Deep breath. Further back down the order, you get to 25th position, Song CG of China. She does go through, but behind her, the remaining sliders, starting with Data Nijmenen and Nana Johansson, will have to watch it from the sidelines, and you can join them too. We'll be back with the final women's encounter of the season at 2:45 local. That is 13:45 GMT, 08:45 Eastern, and that is in a little over 27 minutes. We'll see you then. Bye for now.